Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Relufe Review, and this is where we review the Nigerian art, music, movies, and of course entertainment in general. Like I always say, everything that I say here is based off on my own personal bias, my own opinion about the film. It's not based off on any standard or on any measures. My name is AY with the double O, and let's get straight to the movie that we have for today. The movie we're reviewing today is titled Radio Voice, and this one I say is very relatable, which is why I love the movie, by the way. It's an RMD production movie, Richard Mofe-Damijo, and I don't think I've seen him produce a cinematic, I've not seen him with a cinematic production in a while, and it's good to see him come back with Radio Voice. So when I saw teasers about Radio Voice, I was expecting, of course, what I saw in it was what I was expecting. They gave us that on-here experience, radio experience, and all of that. But they were able to come with a family culture, and a lot of things were also twined into, radio experiences. So it wasn't just stereotyped about radio. So for Radio Voice, we saw Nancy Isime play the role of Uche, and she was a sex worker who had a shot at redemption again. So she had a shot at redemption again, and was her voice she had to work rather for a struggling radio station, and then she became that voice again, that great voice. She became that life, it's like giving life back to something, and then she was able to make meaning of her own life until her past came haunting. Now this story is very simple. That was what we saw with Radio Voice, but getting into the movie and how the plot was developed, you see that it's more than just a film. It is telling reality, and of course telling it in a way that is enjoyable to viewers that are going to watch it. All right, so that's the brief storyline, and that's what we saw with Radio Voice, a sex worker who had a redemption at life, of course, to make things right again for herself. She had that on-here experience, and of course she had to give a life again to a radio station that was on the verge of collapsing, which was Power FM, and that was what we saw with Radio Voice. She gave a life to Power FM again, and her past came haunting, but at the end of the day, she was able to come through. All right, so with Radio Voice, I'd say that for the major highlights for me in the film, RMD is one person that I would say that beyond his looks, beyond the fact that, he's not aging, and all of that, he's a fine man, and he looks the same, and all of that, thing with RMD. I like that he has given us quality movies. He has given us movies that, of course, he's a veteran actor, by the way, but he has given us movies that, back to back. I don't think RMD is one person that you see like in a lot of productions, but if you are going to see him in a film, he has been in quite, some productions, but if you're going to see RMD in a film, you would know that that movie carries weight, that movie carries substance. So I'm always excited to watch anything that has RMD in it, and he was a major highlight for me in the film, from how he carried himself. There's a way that he's always young, even in that, old body and all of that. And I feel like RMD is someone that can resonate with both the younger and the older generation. And he has a blend of that. If you want to see RMD on set with, or in a film with older people, or people that are, age mate, you'll see him blend and flow. And if you see him with the younger generation as well, he just has that flow and that, connection with both young and both old. RMD was one major highlight for me in the film. If I didn't know him, I would say that probably he's a radio person or he's in the media profession, but of course it's still the same, entertainment space and what have we. So for RMD was one major highlight for me. Also Nancy. Now I saw Nancy in a completely different light. Of course, Nancy is a media girl, but beyond what we see on social media and beyond some of Nancy's movies that I've seen, I'll say that Nancy has indeed evolved, in acting, charisma, composure, and we saw her bring that that to life in radio voice. I'll say that she had this very calm character, and even with the fact that she was supposed to be like a sex, worker, no, she wasn't doing too much of that. There was just this blend and this, natural theme that she portrayed in that movie, which was a major highlight for me in the film. Another major highlight for me in the film would be Unse, but Unse Ikpe-Etim died, early in the space, early in the movie. What we saw her in few scenes or few flashbacks. She was more of it in flashbacks than in the major film. But I would have thought when I saw the teaser, that I was going to see more of Unse in the movie. We were told more of who she was before she died, and they did a perfect job at telling the character, telling the story of a character that wasn't really in the film. And that is one difficult thing I would say to do in a film, when you're telling a story of someone in the past that is not there, and you're telling it so much that we can feel their presence in the movie. She played the role of Mayowa, and she was RMD's wife. RMD played Caro in the film, and Ikpe-Etim played Mayowa in the film. These were amazing characters in this movie. Trust me, top characters in the movie. Another supportive character in that film was Damilola Adigbite, and she played the role of Blessing. Now, at the beginning of the film, she had a character that was tilting towards, I don't like her, and somewhere in the movie she just picked it up, and she became that sort of hero, or would I say semi-hero, in the film. But overall, Radio Voice is a relatable film. It's a film that would also educate you. Now, I have that first-hand experience because, of course, I'm a media girl, and of course, I'm a radio girl as well. So for a lot of struggles that we see in the radio industry, where they're struggling, adverts are not coming in, they're struggling to pay salaries, struggling to even thrive as a radio station, we saw all of that being portrayed. So beyond telling a film, I like that they also educated us about, the radio space, the radio business, a lot of things happening there. So if you're just someone who is passionate about radio, by watching Radio Voice, trust me, it will fuel your passion for radio. And I mean, that's what Radio Voice is basically about. So I'm going to go straight to the rating criteria. For the plot, it's a simple story. However, I don't think that I have seen a movie or a Nigerian movie that portrayed radio in such a way that Radio Voice did. So it indeed carried the title that was given to it. It is indeed a Radio Voice. So for the plot, I'm going to give it a good 8 over 10. I think it's an amazing story. I just love everything about this film. So I'm trying so hard not to be biased, but I really love everything about this movie. Now for the acting, of course, these are a blend of top actors. We saw RMD, we saw Nancy, we saw Timini, we saw Damilola Adigbite, and a lot of we saw Blessing, Blessing Unze, a lot of beautiful, talented actors. Deyemi Okolawan was also another character in that film that was annoying. Trust me, it was annoying, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a movie, but it was enjoyable. A blend of beautiful actors that knew what to give. They knew how not to give too much, or how to just give what they were supposed to give. The energy that each character gave, trust me, brought a life to that movie, brought a lot of meaning to the movie. So for the acting, I'll give it a good 8.5. I want to give it a good 8.5. For the editing, I don't think there are issues with the editing. It was evenly paced. They were not doing too much. I don't think there were scenes that we didn't really need to see pop up in the movie. So for the editing as well, it's a good 9 over 10 for me. For the soundtrack, the cinematography, everything just came together to give that blend of, and it was one calm movie. I like that there was no, the movies that you watch where there's a lot of energy, they're trying to make you enjoy it. And there are movies where it just flows naturally. You yourself will connect to the energy that movie is giving. And that is one thing that I saw evolve with Radio Voice. From one scene to the other, it was just beautiful. So for rating criteria overall, for the theme, I saw love and a lot of other themes pop up in the movie. For overall rating criteria, I want to give Radio Voice a 9 over 10. This is one movie that is hard to fault, but while I would say that there's no perfect movie, because because I do not think that there's a perfect movie anywhere. There are always things that are not, there's no complete movie. There's no complete movie. So for flaws in this film, I would say that Timini was a bit of a distraction in the movie. So he was Nancy's supposed baby father who was a deadbeat father. You know, he wasn't present in the life of his child and had just come to say, oh, I have bills to pay and my parents can afford it. Why not? So bring my child. I'm going to introduce her to my parents and tell them that she's, sick, has a terminal illness, and she needs money, to pay for surgery and what have we. That was one thing that I don't think is really realistic in the day and time that we are now. And Nancy being so scared of someone that has not even been in her life for the past 10, 11 years, it seems somehow, to me in that movie, and RMD became the savior and all of that. That was a development that I think that plot would have been developed better in that aspect. It didn't have to be, it was just all up, in the space. There was something that didn't add up. And of course, for some other scenes where eventually Nancy had a sex tape released, and then she had to go to her daughter's school to apologize, to beg, because they were not ready to take her daughter back in school because the mom had a scandal. This is Nigeria, and as much as I'll say that, of course, no school wants a dent on their name, but how many people would indeed start to trace and now say, oh, you can't chase a child, more importantly, a child away from a school because her mother was in the wrong? I think that is extreme. Eventually, the daughter was, admitted back into the school, and all of that. But the fact that that even came up in the first place, I don't know what to say about that development in that movie. But a few things here and there to be corrected or to that I do not completely agree with. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Overall, from this end, I want to give Radio Voice a 9/10. It's a beautiful movie, it's educative, and that blend of love, in that movie, RMD finding love again. I think there was a twist there. I would have thought he was in love with Nancy, all along, but it was so beautiful. And the chemistry with RMD and Damilola was so unique. It's something that I don't think I would have expected to see come 20, come 30 years. But this is something that I saw and I'm like, this is indeed beautiful. And I think we have to give it to RMD. He's the king of I don't know, should I say king of love telling or love story, or it was just a beautiful movie. I think it does it better even than the young stereotyped ones. I don't want to mention names, but Radio Voice is a beautiful movie and it gets a 9/10. Let me know what you think about Radio Voice in the comment box. If you haven't watched it, it is a must watch. Here at Relufe TV, we have given Radio Voice a 9/10. What do you want to give Radio Voice? If you've watched it, drop comments and of course rate it. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. It is a must watch. I'm begging, Ejo, go and watch Radio Voice. This is one unique, beautiful movie that everyone should see. All right, we have come to the end of today's review, of course, movie review on Relufe TV. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Do not forget to like, do not forget to share, do not forget to subscribe, and of course, follow across all social media platforms. It is at Relufe TV. Until I'll be gracing your screens again on another beautiful episode of a Relufe review, my name is AY with the double O.